Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming and joining us out here. And welcome to ACT LA's 2018 TOD Tour. ACT LA, we're a coalition of 35 organizations here in the city of LA. We organize and build policies and coalitions around equitable development near transit. We're here today to really uplift that history. We're going to be stopping at 4 different sites throughout the city of LA, looking at what our member organizations have been doing over the decades to create real, equitable, transit-oriented communities.
All right, folks, pile on the bus.
Many of our member organizations work on the same issues, but in areas that are very far away from each other. There was this need for a citywide coalition that could have a broad impact and fight for the types of developments that working class families really want to see in their communities. With the bus tour, it's an opportunity for tenants to see what other communities are fighting for in their neighborhoods.
So welcome to Little Tokyo, folks. When we talk about the history of the community, we think about it in terms of cycles of displacement and cycles of push and pull between outside forces that are trying to shape the community, and then a community that has built power over time and really pushed for its own self-determination to shape it as the community wishes. This site remains a really important site in terms of our community planning efforts and our vision for the neighborhood. It's currently being used as a staging site for the construction of the regional connector, which is another metro line. As a community, we still see it as a really great opportunity for future development. Metro is really looking at the joint development of the station as an opportunity for a community-focused project. We actually had our first meeting yesterday. They referenced a lot of our community plan documents that we've put together. We're actually pretty excited about what that could mean. Our voice is being heard a little bit better than it was before.
Boyle Heights is super important because it is also a low-income, mostly renter community that is transit dependent.
While we wait for our guest speakers, I thought I'd give us a little quick tour of Mariachi Plaza.
My idea for our stop was to highlight how we've managed to preserve a historical intersection like Mariachi Plaza, where there is affordable housing, there's First Street Business Association, and also the chance for more economic development.
There were groups that were pretty narrowly focused on let's just build rail as much as we can, let's get as much money in here as we can, but there wasn't really any analysis around how that was going to impact communities of color, people that have struggled for decades to keep what they have in these neighborhoods. We made it our mission to organize folks that were transit dependent, that lived here in Boyle Heights, had children here in Boyle Heights, to create a set of community demands.
Being here, it's really essential in terms of being able to really make sure that we maintain this level of communication, but also to be able to execute plans that directly tie it to the advancement of our communities.
All of these affordable housing developments, and plus the fact that our First Street businesses have managed to stay in Boyle Heights, is a testament as to what can happen when the community organizes and gets together and tries to be a part of a process.
Labor's role in building in partnerships with a community, we're a union, and the union represents workers.
We care about the worker, we care about their family, we care about their ability to have a career beyond just this one project.
It's important for us to provide upward mobility for the community. Our number one priority is to ensure that every member, every construction worker is able to earn a living that provides them with dignity, that someday when they go to retire, they're able to retire within their own community and not have to move away.
Roland Curtis, the idea was to turn that into student housing. And so this is really an opportunity to use our land trust model as a way to preserve housing and family and neighborhoods.
Roland Curtis is an example of a community land trust, and because it is owned by our organization and overseen by the members, it will be permanently affordable.
I'm one of the tenants that has all of a sudden become a senior citizen, but I've been involved in the struggle for many years because of Trust South LA. Oh, they got me activated, so I'm out here now. And y'all got me inspired too, so thank you.
The purpose of getting everybody together, it creates opportunity for communication and development of collective strategy. And the reality is we live in a system that we have to be engaged. My work is built on getting our community and members in particular, and the folks who live in our housing, involved and seeing themselves in a movement that's larger than just us.
I am here today because I think housing and transit are important for everyone.
I believe in having residents' voices heard.
There's power in organizing. We should always be demanding a community engagement process. We're the ones that live in our communities, we're the ones that know what we want to see in our communities, and we're the ones that should be benefiting.
Even if someone tells you that this is the finished plan, finished product, if you don't agree, especially as a community at large, it's important to push back, make noise, and change the results.
ACT LA brings us together. It makes us aware of different needs.
All of the stops were organizations that are putting forward solutions. I hope that our organizing pushes our decision makers to see the communities that are most affected, to hear their voices and to adopt their recommendations. Where do we go from here, right? 2018 is going to be a big year for us. We have a couple opportunities to really enable more of this work across the city and across the region. Thank you all.